Well, welcome back everyone to our online program, and we've been talking about principles of meaning and a scientific version of this. So this is all backed up by research in the field. Under this argument that meaning is very important to human beings, and our particular interest is meaning is important as a way of getting past drug use and getting past addiction. The great psychiatrist Viktor Frankl said that addiction was a response to living a life that lacks personal meaning. So the solution's kind of obvious, right? Get a life. If you can get a life, then the purpose of the addiction just melts away into nothingness. Anyway, we've done a lot of scientific study on meaning. So last time we talked about this principle that every human being has this built-in urge to find meaning. And today we'll talk about the idea that this meaning that we find in something has to resonate with reality. It's got to be able to express reality. So anyone who says, for example, I hate people, well, they're either a sociopath or they're simply not being honest with themselves, right? Or the armchair quarterback who thinks he knows more than the coach and the professional quarterback is really quite delusional. Or somebody who has a heart attack who thinks that, well, I had this little blip in my health, but now I went to the doctor and they fixed it, so I'm back to normal. That guy is probably in big trouble because it's not reflecting reality. In our facility, we have clients here who are addicted, say, to heroin, and they make sense of their heroin addiction as, well, the only reason I kept doing heroin is because I was afraid of withdrawing from it. And that really doesn't make a lot of sense in terms of reality. Because, for example, there's people who are thoroughly detoxified from heroin so that fear just doesn't exist, and yet they relapse, right? And the danger if you make sense of something in a way that doesn't reflect reality is that you're operating on faulty information, right? So the person addicted to heroin who believes that the only reason they used heroin is because they were afraid of withdrawal, they're going to run into some troubles after they've detoxified, right? Because they're going to get cravings and these yearnings and Viktor Frankl's stuff, right? Addiction is a response to a lack of meaning in life, right? So they're going to run into all that. And if the way they are making sense of it is simply that they used it because they were afraid of withdrawal, they're going to be in big trouble. And I know lots of people who make sense of their addiction based on the idea that, well, I've got this really bad stress in my life, and I found that drinking was the only way to get rid of the stress. Well, if that's their belief, they're gonna run into trouble if it's if they get bored, right? Or if they go to a party, or it's New Year's or something, and there's a real danger that they're going to relapse if their only belief in the drug problem is that they used it just because they were stressed, right? So it's this idea of meaning has to reflect reality that is been shown by our research to be a pretty prominent principle. Anyway, that's it for this time, and we'll be back next time with a new episode on our topic of meaning.